What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking Arcimoto. We've got CEO and founder Mark Frohnmayer on the line. They've got a bunch of news out. The stock is on fire. I was going to have a call with Mark anyway, so I thought, why not record it and hop on Hyperchange to get the update right from him for all of you. So, Mark, welcome to the show.
What up, Hyperchange? Gally, thanks for having me back on.
Totally. So, you guys have made a bunch of moves recently. Let's start with the Hyrecar partnership for the Deliverator. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
So that's our very first deployment of commercial deliverators for commercial delivery. And I think what's probably most critical about that for us is that it's really the missing link in getting gig economy drivers into deliverators. Because when you think about gig drivers, they're driving typically using their own vehicles. And Hyrecar's platform, what they do is they actually rent vehicles to gig drivers to go do their work. And so having a way for somebody who is doing driving for Grubhub or Uber Eats or anybody, Postmates, whatever, to be able to get in a Deliverator and go make money, that's really the goal of that partnership. And secondarily for us, actually probably equally important for us, is that these are our pilot vehicles. We've got two vehicles out with Hyrecar, and we want to really learn a lot from gig drivers about what their needs are. As we move the Deliverator from pilot to production, we're still in development of that product, and so we want to make sure that it is as functional as possible for people doing last mile delivery.
Wow, and that's a fascinating little beta test there to sort of get that underway, start learning, and then hopefully expand that in a big way. Really awesome to see that sort of the Deliverator going from concept to actually in the field deployed, helping these gig economy drivers actually, even if it's only a couple of them that you've delivered, to actually start doing real deliveries is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and Hyrecar, they've had, and actually both Hyrecar and Arcimoto have had inbound inquiries from people who want to spin up fleets of delivery vehicles. And so this gives us kind of a focusing point where somebody who wants to look at this, instead of looking at it as a venture investment, looking at it as a project to finance. So you can start to think about it in terms of a project finance fleet that's managed using the Hyrecar platform, that's using Deliverators to do last mile delivery. That's really sort of the trifecta win that we're aiming towards together.
Awesome. And I mean, there's so much happening with Arcimoto. The stock is I think it closed today at 680. It's up from $3 or $4 in the past month or so, a crazy tear, over 7 after hours, I think, as we're recording this. And I think a big piece of that for me personally, why I'm super excited, is not just the Hyrecar news, but this financing news you've announced. And I think before that, on the 25th, you announced some sort of debt conversion or cleaning up the cap table. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we actually did two financings in June. As you and I talked about a couple months ago, we had not been looking to the capital markets for next stage financing. I mean, we've been going squarely after the Advanced Technology Vehicle Manufacturing Loan Program and some of the CARES Act pieces, simply because the market crashed and we were way down and just it was not looking like the capital markets were going to be a good place to go for our next steps. That has certainly changed somewhat in the last 3 months. And so in the middle of June, we took advantage of the stock rise to do a financing, kind of a $8 million small financing. That got us actually out of debt, let us retire our senior secured note that we had coming due, and gave us some additional runway. And then when the stock continued to move up, the moment it crested we had convertible notes that were sitting at 4.25, primarily amongst insiders. So this was me and my mom and a couple of our directors and some close to the company folks. I called them all up and said, hey, just as a sign of support for the company, would you convert your notes early? And they all agreed to do so. And so we did that last week, and then the stock continued to move. And so Monday night we did another transaction. Again, not a big raise, but it was enough to extend our runway and let us continue to hit the throttle.
Yeah, and it's, watching Arcimoto, there's so many stories that are sort of coming to fruition right now. Like you've got production back up and running, the factories reopen, you're sort of hitting your stride there. The Sandy Monroe partnership, can't wait to see what that, how that plays out with helping you ramp that manufacturing partnership. The Hyrecar thing, this new financing, and it really feels like now this new capital, you raised it at much higher prices than you had recently. So that's a pretty big sign of strength. Then to see the stock continue to climb after that was really impressive. And so now it seems like you just have all this ammo and you could really go and focus on building, scaling, delivering, meeting that demand, not worrying about financing for the near term. I mean, it just seems like an awesome sort of chasm has been crossed, an inflection point for Arcimoto.
We've had lots of times where we've had really exciting plans, but not had the resources to go execute those plans. So now it feels good to have a little bit of dry powder to go and tackle some of the next steps. We had finished our first sort of 2-week sprint with Sandy, and Sandy, if you're watching, hey, great work on that first part. I'm very excited by the results of their team's efforts, even just over a couple of weeks. And we're looking at what does this next step look like as we push to get not only refinements to sort of our current production processes, but then as we aim for much higher volumes of production. And all of that folds into our application to the Department of Energy.
Wow. And so that's still on track as well. You guys are targeting to get that loan as well. That's still moving forward despite all of these recent changes.
Oh, yeah. No, we look at that as really because getting to high volume production and where we're aiming is going to be in the tens of thousands of units per year is going to take some capital investments, and that's really what the DOE program is all about. So we think that if anything, our recent financings position us better to apply for the DOE funds.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on for this quick call, Mark. Really, really pumped about Arcimoto and just like proud of you and the whole team for sort of getting through this, and just wanted to say congrats kind of on all the success and share price, and just can't wait to see what happens from here. Definitely going to be maybe have you on the show again after the Q2 results come out, or maybe, who knows what else Arcimoto has up their sleeve. You never know. But yeah, really thanks for coming on, and seriously, congrats, Mark.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. This is actually only the second time that our stock has closed above our initial public offering price, and so it's really with quite a lot of gratitude to all of those who have supported us along the way to help build the company, and I really appreciate you helping to get the word out and tell the story. So thank you.
Yeah, and on that note, if you're ordering an Arcimoto, the fun utility vehicle, you should definitely have FOMO if you don't have one, because I wish I had one here in Seattle right now to just be cruising around. Like, it would be amazing. And so you can actually help me get one by using the code HYPERCHANGE when you order yours, and I'm sure there's some sort of prize that you get if you include a code or something, but I'm pushing for that.
Do it. Yeah, awesome.
All right, well, thanks again, Mark. We'll see you soon. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Gallup. See you.